I've done some crazy, seemingly useless physical challenges this past year with a couple friends. Last fall, we did 3,500 push-ups in 1 week, which equates to about 500 a day. Being lazy a few of the days, I skipped some and convinced myself it wasn't a big deal. Obviously, I could make up for them by the end of the week. And unfortunately, I ended up having to do 1,100 push-ups on the last day. And that was essentially getting on the ground and doing 50 every 25 minutes or so. It was a really long, tough day, but in the end, I made it through and I felt proud of myself. Some months after that, we did a 3-day water fast. No calories, no food for 72 hours. It was honestly horrible. I was hungry 10 hours into it, and I knew it was just the beginning. At some point, the physical hunger fades away, but your mind can't think of anything except for food, which ended up making it feel much longer than it really was. But nevertheless, I made it through and I was proud of myself. In February of this year, we came to the conclusion that 3 days wasn't enough. We decided on a 5-day water fast. 120 hours of torture. I knew that it was going to be hard, but I also knew that I could get through it. And same as before, I got hungry 10 hours in and knew that there was 110 hours ahead of me of pain and misery. But nevertheless, I made it through, and I felt proud of myself. Now, one of my friends recently decided he wanted to start losing weight, which honestly is not an easy task. It's a difficult transition for anyone to change from a diet of only unhealthy foods to a diet of only healthy foods. To kickstart his journey and to see if he was really committed, me and a mutual friend of ours joined him in a 7-day fruit fast, which is essentially you can't eat anything except for fruit, but you can eat as much fruit as you want. But 3 days into it, my mind started telling me some crazy things. For once in recent history, I moved the threshold for hard backwards. And even though this challenge was 7 days, it was significantly easier than the 5-day water fast. Even the 3-day. When I was hungry, I could eat as much as I wanted, whenever I wanted, as long as it was fruit. And the hunger would at least go away for a little bit. And I definitely had some cravings for actual food, but it didn't overtake my mind and body like the water fasts did. I had plenty of energy, even if it was suboptimal, and I didn't feel physically sick like I had in the other fasts. Anyone in their right mind would be thankful for these things to be true, because who wants to be tired and sick and craving something that you can't have? But I might not be in my right mind. Just about 3 days into the fast, I couldn't help but think about how much of a wimp I was. I was telling myself, seriously, Joey, you're doing a challenge that is much easier than the last challenge you did? Do you not want to grow mental strength? If you're going to do something so easy, at least be more productive while you do it. This is what was going through my mind and partially still does. No healthy sense of pride, no appreciation for completing something hard, even if it wasn't literally starving myself, and not even any grace for skipping gym sessions that week. Nothing. All I had is the sense in the back of my mind that I had more to give. It could have been harder. It should have been harder. I didn't push myself near to the physical and mental edge that I have before. In talking about this, it makes me think of this concept, chosen suffering. I think chosen suffering is pretty self-explanatory. It's basically when people do something that they don't necessarily want to do in order to get something in the future that they do want. Something about this chosen suffering that I subject myself to makes me feel like a coward. And I think for good reason. As difficult as any challenge can be, whether some sort of CrossFit workout, stupid push-up challenge, or literally starving myself, at the end of the day, it was still all my choice. No one held me at gunpoint and told me to do 1,100 push-ups. Just like I wasn't stranded on an island for 5 days without food. Whether it's just me or other people feel it too, it's simply uncontrollable. No one telling me good job makes me feel better. And knowing that almost no one is willing to put themselves through this pain doesn't change my mind either. Maybe this is just the truth of being human. That no matter how much suffering you elect to put yourself through, you will never feel sufficiently strong, resilient, steadfast, or determined. Or that's where you thought this was going to end. And I will let someone much smarter than me explain this one.
Unchosen suffering is going to happen in life. Mm-hmm. Your parents are going to pass away, loved ones are going to die, your relationships are going to break down, your body is going to fail you, you're going to become ill or sick or destitute. Things are going to happen that you have no control over. Mm-hmm. And the only way that you can prepare yourself for unchosen suffering is with chosen suffering.
Right.
You can elect to put yourself into a position to become a stronger alloy of whatever the metal is that you're made of. And by purposefully choosing difficult things, you will armor yourself against that situation. It's still going to suck. But think about how much more fragile you would be if you hadn't overcome all of this stuff.
I obviously haven't fully internalized this lesson yet. I still feel like a coward when I do something that wasn't the hardest thing I've ever done. But I assume I'm not the only one who knows the despair that this brings. And if I ever figure out how to be proud of the chosen suffering, I'll make sure to talk about it very quickly. But for now, I'm already planning the next very hard challenge to do. Not because it will bring satisfaction of any sort, but to prepare myself for all of the unchosen suffering that I've been blessed to not have gone through yet in my life. So I will choose to suffer now. I hope and pray that no one thinks this video is supposed to be about me. It isn't me trying to sound like some hyper-masculine, hyper-productive savage that can go through hard things and still think they're easy. My hope for this video is that some amount of people will relate to the feeling of being a coward despite doing hard things, and that this may bring them some comfort. I also think it is unreasonable for anyone to judge themselves for not having gone through a certain amount of unchosen suffering. Those who still have both parents alive and together, always having an abundance of love and comfort, can sometimes feel like a coward for not having gone through any very difficult emotional situation. That is a twisted sort of survivor's guilt that I really don't have time to talk about in this video. But be kinder to yourself. That unchosen suffering will come. Make sure you're prepared.